Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. For those of you who are new, I'm Olivia.
I'm Ariana.
And today we're doing a video on mental health and just kind of being positive and staying healthy.
Yeah. So something that we were going to talk about is anxiety.
Yeah, so we've both kind of suffered from anxiety for a long time.
I started having panic attacks when I was 14. I remember that really well. But I don't really have them now. The last time I had one was probably last year. But, you know, for her it's
A little
different.
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, the anxiety, I've always been kind of like nitpicky, I guess you can say, but I didn't really start like interrupting like everyday life until college. So that's when I started really noticing my panic attacks. My most recent one was a few weeks ago, I think. So we're just going to talk about how we push through it and how we try to really keep everything as positive as possible. I guess we should explain what a panic attack is. So for us, I mean, everyone's experience is different, but it feels like a crazy adrenaline rush. So
you can't sit still. Like, it feels like you're gonna die if you sit still, really. That's kind of like the simplest way I can say it.
Yeah, you get like a crazy adrenaline rush. You feel like you can go running for miles, but it's not a good feeling.
No, it's
so it makes you want to just like sit down, but you know if you sit down, then you're not getting up.
You're just like stuck in this really gross place, mentally and physically, because like your body just is like, it's working so hard for some reason. It just feels like it's just an awful, awful, awful feeling. For anyone who's ever experienced it, you know, obviously you guys know what it feels like. But like I've mentioned earlier, Olivia has a lot more panic attacks than I ever did. For her, obviously, it's something that she's still dealing with very strongly now, and for me, it's kind of taken a backseat. See, the difference between her and I is like I have generalized anxiety disorder. So mine is kind of like I just really worry
all the time
about everything all the time, more than the average person would. So obviously that has effects on my physical health and obviously my mental health. Worrying obviously isn't a good thing, especially when you're worrying about things that you have no control over. And that's something that I've always struggled with. You should only worry about things that you can control. And even sometimes when something's overwhelming, you can just, you know, sit down for a bit, try to clear your head. Some things that help me deal with, you know, when I'm feeling extra anxious is I listen to music. It's really important for me to try to get out of my head, because I feel like I'm in my head a lot of the time, and that's not so great when you have anxiety because it just makes everything worse.
For me, I like to do deep breathing. So when I'm having a panic attack, it's like hyperventilation, like to the max. You can't catch your breath, you can't speak. It's just, I don't even know, it's like fight or flight, but your body can't choose which one it's gonna do. So
it's
your
always
body,
in that struggle between the both of them, and you're just like the one that's dealing
Stuck,
with it.
Yeah. So after, I use an app called Pacifica. It's really good. It's good for anyone who's suffering from anxiety, or you just kind of want to just be more centered. You log down like what you're feeling that day, how it has like so many moods, like hundreds of moods that you can choose from. You can even write in your own. I don't use that function as much as I use the deep breathing. So it has like different breathing techniques for different, like if you're feeling a different way. So if like after a panic attack you just need to catch your breath, you need to like have a deep breathing session, they have one, like they have a program for that. So I use that a lot, and it does help. Like even when you're just like feeling overwhelmed at the end of the day and you just need to breathe, I love it.
Something that we talked about in a previous video about physical health kind of ties into this video. Working out has really helped the both of us. You know, your body releases endorphins. Obviously that's like you're happy. What would you call them?
Endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands.
Anyways.
So we know that mental health has a really bad stigma. What we really hope that people understand is that it's okay. Like there's nothing wrong with being anxious. There's nothing wrong with going through your depression or going through like body dysmorphia or something like that, because everyone has their thing, and it's okay to feel those things. It's just not okay to dwell on it.
Don't give in, because life is so beautiful, and we've been both in such dark places before. It was just so unhealthy, and it was really hard to find happiness, and like happiness is a choice. You don't just, oh, I'm happy, okay. But also keep in mind that you're not going to be happy all the time. You're not going to be happy 24/7, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It doesn't mean that, you have to go see a psychologist. Like, no. Obviously, for other reasons, you might have to, but it's okay to not feel super happy 24/7.
Yeah. So a lot of people assume that you got to talk about it. You have to talk about your problems and find someone to confide in or go to therapy. And like, I've been to therapy and she's been to therapy, and it helped me a lot. It helped me kind of find ways to cope with panic attacks and ways to cope with just anxiety in general. But for her, she had a different experience.
For me, I didn't really feel like it did that much for me. And I say that because sometimes it doesn't always help to talk about it. We're not saying like don't talk to anyone about your issues. It's just everyone's different, and sometimes talking about it is good and we feel like, we got weight off our chest, but then sometimes talking about it makes it feel like that weight is heavier. If it's something that you want to do, find someone that you're close with, and if you don't have someone that you're very close with, that's when you can go to therapy. You can go see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. They're gonna help you and decide what they think is best for you. Sometimes you're not gonna hit it off with, your first therapist. That happened to me. I went through a few until I felt comfortable, but that's completely normal.
Yeah, definitely. So always remember that no matter what you believe in, you can do therapy, you can do medication, you can do exercise, herbal supplements, anything. So everyone has their thing. If you have any suggestions as to what other people can use or what we can use to kind of ease anxieties also, leave it down below.
So obviously I'm dealing with it. There's healthy ways of dealing with it and unhealthy ways. Everyone is going to deal with it differently, so we're not ones to say what is healthy and what isn't, but obviously going to substance abuse that's obviously really unhealthy. Trying to suppress it and ignore it isn't going to make the issue go away. If it's something that you've been dealing with for a long time, or if you're new to it, obviously your coping is going to be on a different level, but drinking and doing drugs and all of that, you might feel good now when you're doing it in the moment, but in the long run it's really not worth it. So that's the end of our video. We hope that you found it useful. This is something that is really close to our hearts because it's something that we've experienced. If you guys have any suggestions or are you curious about anything, leave it in the comments down below, and stay tuned for our next video.
Bye.